So before the main character reincarnated, his family wanted him to be a dominary CEO. I mean, one from a literal YN story or a CEO story. I am not kidding. They tried finding him stereotypical YN girls, and then when they didn't work, they tried to find him a stereotypical YN bottom. But those didn't work, so they went, oh, maybe he's not fit to be a dominary CEO. We will get him a dominary CEO. And it still didn't work out. Like, his family tried to fit him into a book, and he was just like, yeah, I'm not gonna do that. So our main character couldn't find himself a lover, ended up getting ill, and this illness has no cure. So he's like, you know what? I'll just spend the rest of my days reading novels. And one of those novels is the one the Melite is from. And the Melite's kingdom was destroyed by the original hostess kingdom, the original hostess father, and he was brought as a hostage, a war trophy, and the original host is like, I want him as one of my pleasure slaves. And so he spent all that time underneath the original host, being a slave to the original host before he took back what was rightfully his. And he slaughtered everyone who, did him wrong. He got his revenge. It was a revenge plot, but then it turned into a stallion story where he just went around collecting beauties left and right, just like in the original story of Scum Saving System. It went from a revenge plot story to just a stallion story with nothing else to it, with often on having actual plot to it, but nothing more. And that's exactly what his story turned into. It went from a revenge story to a senseless stallion story. Now, he does have a love interest who is the sister of the original host. And they were supposed to be lovers, but she turned him down, which makes sense because he slaughtered her brother. No way a woman's gonna take a man like that. You're like, you slaughtered my kingdom, my people, my brother. I'm not gonna marry you. That is insane. And she killed herself to stop marrying him. And he went and got himself beauties left and right and then brought her back from the dead. And it took years to bring her back to the dead. Like, it was insane of a plot. And the main character was eating it up. He also loved to eat up the post people would leave, the comments people would leave. He'd just sit there and just eat the popcorn and watch people fight. He was just like, I love that. Well, in Scum Saving System, the main character liked to get in the comments and pick fights with people and leave his own sneering post. The main character left one post, and that's basically to make people realize the Melite's character. He's like, the Melite is a certain person. If the original love interest had actually seen him, actually been with him, he wouldn't be fooling around. He would be a demurring ruler, a kind, caring ruler. But she threw his hand away and killed herself to not be with him. And someone went, oh, you understand him the best. And now he's stuck in this book after he commits suicide, which he gets everything done and fit, everything prepared for once he dies. And he doesn't die from an illness, he literally commits suicide. And I guess he was talking to somebody. It could have been his father, it could have been a sibling. They talk about his mother and how the main character had promised to take care of him thanks to the wishes of his mother, but he ends up committing suicide instead of taking care of this person. So I'm wondering who this person was. Was this person his father? Was it his brother? Was it a relative? I'm not sure who it was. The main character wakes up in his new world and he's like, where am I? And once he gets to meet his servant, knows her name and knows his name, he's like, oh no, I'm doomed. And he tried crawling under his sheets, being like, I'm running away from reality. I don't exist. This world doesn't exist. This is not my new life. But like, he can't do this once he realizes where the Melite is, and he rushes to go collect the Melite. He's like, yeah, no, the Melite is not going to be imprisoned anymore. Take him to the physician and then send him to the imperial household for work. Like, we're not going to have his life anymore. He's not going to be my pleasure slave. He's not going to join my harem. No, just send him to the imperial household where he will be safe and sound. It's technically not safe and sound because there's a eunuch out for the Melite and targets the Melite, and he uses his steward to do this. The main character goes and meets the old general who in the original storyline had ranted, scorned, and scowled the original host for the original host's actions and acting exactly like his father. And the original host stripped him of his position and the old man left. And the main character's like, no, I can't do this. This old general is what keeps our kingdom safe and sound. I am not stripping him of his position, and listens to the man and tells the man, I will change my ways, and he does. So the main character doesn't realize something is that he ruins the meet cute of the male lead and the original love interest, the main character's sister's love story, the meet cute that starts it all. Because she was supposed to be seeing her grandfather off, who is the old general, after he was stripped of his position and was sent back to his hometown. Yes, she was supposed to meet up with him, which leads to her meeting the male lead. But because the main character did that, their meet cute never happens. And when the main character goes to see the meet cute in the sidelines, instead of seeing the meet cute, he's just seeing the male lead be punished and tortured by the other servants in the imperial household. And the main character has no choice but to step in and save the male lead instead of his sister doing that. There's another scene in here that's kind of like Scum Saving System, where the male lead holds onto an item from his mother. The same in here. There are people bullying and harassing the male lead and trying to steal the one thing he has left of his mother from him. And this is the second time the main character has to step in on the bullying and stop their bullying and protects the male lead. This time he tells the male lead, hey, why don't you come to my harem? Now, I'm not going to do anything to you, I promise that, but you have to come with me. It will be where you will be safe and sound. Now, you will have to deal with my pleasure slaves who will be jealous and attack you, but it's safer than being here, who the eunuch and the steward has it out for you. And the male lead agrees to come with the main character, and the main character was able to get the token the male lead had of his mother back for the male lead. One of the original hosts is pleasure slaves who plays the instrument, so we'll call them the instrumental pleasure slave, and he plays the instrument just like the male lead from Grandmaster Demonic Convention does, but I do not know how to pronounce it. So yes, he plays an instrument. He's having an affair with the main character's personal guard. They're having a whole affair. They fell in love during this period of time. Now, the original host had nothing to do with this pleasure slave, so they were able to keep their relationship tight and lipped and be romancing each other behind the original host's back. But the main character, once in the body, almost catches them twice. He hears the music, decides to follow the music to see what's going on, but instead runs into his personal guard both times. And it's like, what's that music? And he's like, oh, what music? Yeah, I checked it out. Could not find what the source of the music was from. To the point the main character goes, is this your just personal anthem? Like, is this your personal intro? Like, every time you show up, this music is gonna play? Like, he's playing around with this. He's having fun. He's joking about. But he's kind of get it. He sooner or later figures them out. And the personal guard did die in the original story. He died protecting the original host, which it says that once he died, a sad melody played, which is insane because the original host had killed all of his personal slaves when the male lead came for revenge. Killed all his personal slaves except for one and tried running away with that slave, but that slave betrayed him for the male lead. So yes, I'm confused how that melody was able to be played. Right? Like, he killed all of them except for one and got betrayed by the one he didn't kill. So I'm a little confused by that.